Guys, well, it hasn't been here very long, but we are going to do the full review of this Vosteed Psyop by Tough Thumbs. I absolutely love this thing, so not going to keep you guys here any longer. Let's turn this around and take a look at this awesome thing from above. All right, guys, this thing is amazing. I just want to throw that out there. This is the Vosteed knife Psyop designed by Jeff over at Tough Thumbs. Now, I'm really impressed with this. We did the first impressions unboxing here just not too long ago, but I've been carrying this a lot and really have gotten a good feel for it. So it's a beautiful micarta and Elmax knife with a button compression lock, or like they like to call a back liner lock. So let's go ahead. We're going to get some specs out of the way. We're going to get some size comparisons, some boring stuff. I'm going to tell you about the things that I found on this knife and how I used it, and the things I changed my mind about. So let's go ahead and get those specs out of the way. So you're looking at an 8.01 inch overall length with a blade length of 3.32 inches. Those are some weird off-the-wall numbers. I don't know why. I imagine it's because of the way Jeff designs things. This is done in Elmax with a blade stock thickness of 0.138, so it's not super thick, and it's this beautiful upswept drop point blade with a lot of belly. It is done in Elmax, like I said, at 60 to 62 with black micarta handles. It is a front flipper and top liner lock, but it also has got this aperture on it. Now, this is I unfortunately have to tell you, this is a White Mountain exclusive that is currently sold out. This black micarta with the Dune Desert PVD coating on it. But there are other models available, and I'll make sure I put links to it. Let's get some size comparisons out of the way so that you guys have a visual representation. Your first knife for size comparison is the Spyderco PM2. And as you can see, when I set it up here, tail to tail, pivot to pivot, tip to tip, they are almost identical in length. A little bit more of an intrusive area here on that. Great comparison. And for those of you new to the channel, I do these visual comparisons, size comparisons, so that I can tell you that it is 8.01 inches, but at least now you have something to reference. Your next knife for size comparison is the Benchmade Osborne 940, probably the best known knife in the knife industry. And you can see it's a little bit bigger than a 940. And your last knife, as always, is the legendary Chris Reeve large Sebenza. Mine's a large 21. You can see there, little bit bigger than the Psyop. Guys, let's get this out of the way and talk about this knife, because it's a pretty good knife. I'm really impressed with this. So at first I had some problems with the knife. We'll talk about that in a little bit towards the end. So this is, like I said, Elmax and micarta. It's a very nice, unique design. It is a button compression lock. Basically, that's what this is. This is listed as a back liner lock, a button back liner lock. But when you really look at how it works, it is basically a compression lock. You can see it slides in. It's the same thing that you have on this knife right here that was just in my pocket a minute ago. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just on the other side of the knife. This one has an additional piece to it that makes it almost like a button. You can see basically the same mechanism at play here. Really similar. It is a great lock. It's one of the strongest locks you're going to find. I absolutely love the compression lock. I like this lock on this knife. The blade is beautifully shaped. You can see I've used it a good bit. I did some really hard use tasks with this. I was doing some cutting dowel rods and things like that to make tent stakes because I wanted to see how the Elmax would hold up. Beautiful micarta handles on this. The black micarta is beautiful. Ambidextrous pocket clip that has been recessed, so it's not going to come loose and slide around even if your screws get a little bit loose. Your hardware is the same coating color on that. Now, this has got a very unique profile to it because of tip and heel being one of these, making it one of these knives that's completely radiused all the way across, which means it drops into the cut really well. You've got a large aperture on this for the reverse flick, but I'm typically not a fan of front flippers. This one is pretty good. I'm not going to complain about it. I don't use the front flipper too much on it because it's just not my preferred method, but you end up with multiple means of deployment because you can also use the lock just like a button lock and reverse, just flick it out by pushing the button. The blade itself has been ground down to a very nice edge, and the Elmax on this is holding up very well. It came really, really sharp from the factory. I have only stropped it after using it. When you've got this in hand, you've got this nice little platform here, so you can get back here. You got multiple handholds. You can get back here in this finger choil groove area. You can get up on that flat and have, I think, the most comfortable grip on it of all three. Or you can get up in this choil, which I complained about the size of this choil at first, but after handling the knife for a few days, I realized that I did get comfortable using that forward choil, so it's not as big a deal. That area is that big because it has to account for where the placement of that button is. As you see, the button is right there and it has to drop in and make a spot for it. But you can get way up on this. Now the jimping on it is really good. It's not too soft. It's not the sharpest jimping I've ever had, but it is definitely functional jimping. PVD coating, good strong PVD coating on this. I cut a ton of cardboard with this. I cut tent stakes out of, I think this time I used pine dowel rods, so they're not as hard as some of the others I had used. Nice free action on this if you want something like that. And it's nice and slender. So it feels really good because it's nice and broad, but it's slender this way, which means it sits in the pocket nicely. And that blade nests in there, even though it's a fairly broad blade on those skinny handles, nests in there really well. Nice backspacer on this, preventing when you put your keys in your pocket, you can just drop things in there. And then the polish liners are a nice look. There is some weight reduction done in this, you can see. And it's done on the one side, but it is enough to give you just about that perfect balance where your neutral point is about where your fingers are going to be. It's not tail heavy, it's not tip heavy, it's just pretty neutral. Other than that, I mean, I used this a lot. This was my primary carry for the majority of the time it's been here. I love how it feels when you get up on it like this. You can get up in the choil, but I think this is about the perfect grip. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then the pocket clip, nice and comfortable, doesn't move around because it's been recessed, like I said, but it also doesn't slide too much, but it sits nice and deep in the pocket. Nice deep carry pocket clip on that. So I'm going to keep carrying this. You may see this in another video after some long-term stuff, but this is just a really, really good knife all around. So as always, though, there are things that I find about knives that I don't like, and we're going to talk about those on the flip side of the knife, flip side of the story. Okay, there's not much on this that I'm gonna say would be negative. I do wish that this was just a plain flipper with a liner lock. Even though I have gotten accustomed to this choil and I can get up in it, I find this grip to be more comfortable, and then you do have an issue where you've got a lot of dead space there, especially if you're like cutting up cardboard and stuff. You can get into it and cut. You have to make the conscious effort to be up here. The next thing is, as much as I like this blade and it's nice and radiused, I wish that it had a longer flat. I do most of the work that I do on a knife on the flat, which is why I like something with a little bit more flat. I keep grabbing this because this just happens to be what I'm carrying today. So if this was further back here, I feel like it wouldn't feel as short on that flat area before you got into the radiused area. The next thing, I love the micarta, but it is a little bit slicker than I would like. I like it to be a little bit more natural. It's more on this side. I wish both sides were like this. You can see that this just has been smoothed out. I may take this apart and either blast it or do something to roughen that up just ever so slightly, because this is just a little slicker than I would want. And then, like I said, I think that if this was just a regular liner lock with a flipper, I would have liked it a little bit more, because on top of the fact I'm not a big fan of front flippers, you get this big gap. The last thing that I would say is I like the pocket clip, but I don't think I would want this knife to be as deep a carry. For me personally, these are just my personal things. A lot of people are like, well, this is just like your opinion, man. Well, that's the whole thing with this channel. It's all based on my opinion. And then I don't like lanyard holes. I would have liked to have seen that in the backspacer. But other than that, it's a great, great knife. I really like it. It was a gift from one of the paying members. So I didn't get this from Vosteed, and I did not get this from Jeff over at Tough Thumbs. So with that being said, guys, is it a yup or not? It is a yup all day and twice on Sunday. If you find one, even though I know these are sold out, pull the pin on it. These ones are sold out, but I will put a link down below to the models that are not sold out. So guys, let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your day. So yeah, there you go, guys. There's a lot of things on this knife that are incredible. I like the fact that they did the finish on it the way they did. It's got an attractive look. It's just a really good knife. And the things that I found wrong with it they're kind of more me things. There's nothing functionally wrong with this knife. So yeah, really hits the wickets. Jeff, great design. Absolutely love it. If you guys don't know, Tough Thumbs and I have been talking about this since I first got it. So guys, that's it on this one. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down, but tell me why. I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. Tons of ways to support the channel. I have got a Cash App now. It's Sharp Crazy, SHARPCRAZY. That is my Cash App if you want to support the channel and not give anything to YouTube. But I also have affiliate links with most of the major knife vendors down below. Knives Ship Free, Blade HQ, GP Knives, most of the knife brands. And I also have an Amazon store that you can use for all of your Amazon shopping. Please take that link, pin it to your browser, use it for all that Amazon shopping. Two of the links down below, Coffee Brand Coffee and Tempered Trails, have a discount built into them just by clicking on the link. And speaking of discounts, 10% off at Fair & Forged Knife Works, KATSU Knives, Rosecraft Blades, Otter Arms. That's OTTER. My buddy makes beautiful pistol stands in any configuration and design you want. And he also does haptic fidget spinners. So Otter Arms are the pistol stands, and OTTER, like Sea Otter, Otter EDC are for the haptic fidget spinners that he makes. And once again, that's Crazy Sharp, all one word, all lowercase. Saves you 10% at all those vendors. I also have a membership down below. You can click on it. You get early access to videos, exclusive content for members. I've got stuff slated for giveaways as soon as my work schedule figures. It is very early in the morning right now. It is about 5 a.m. Everyone's still asleep. That's about it, guys. You know, it's been a lot of fun, and it's going to be hectic. Like I said in a couple update videos, I'm going to try and keep stuff coming, but there are changes because now I have an unusual work schedule at the moment, and then once it stabilizes. So guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.